Hi, welcome to Turn-Based Besties, a podcast where two grown adults with no free time talk about their favorite RPGs. I'm DJ.
And I'm Sam, and we're besties that love to
Did
game.
you like my nasally voice that I'm
So
using?
good. So good. Keep that.
Thank
Keep
you.
that. Channel
Nope.
that.
Yeah, I will. So much, bro. Bruh.
No, you're sounding good. You're sounding real good.
I know, right?
Um, so you used your beautiful chops and your beautiful tones when you all were singing recently. Is that right? What were you up to?
Yeah, wow. Yeah. I was in Montana last week for the Montana International Choral Festival with my professional ensemble Vaxinova, which I think we've mentioned on here before.
Of
Probably.
course. I
Yeah.
think even the last episode.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Because it's like, what did you do? What did you do recently? Vox Nova. It's Vox Nova season. So
It is.
I just did that recently again. So yeah, we were singing with seven other international choirs, giving concerts, singing on the radio for 5 days in Missoula, Montana, which is a cool little college town in Montana. Yeah, it's
Fun.
really similar to Columbia, Missouri, where where Sam and I did our undergrad and some of our advanced degrees too.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful little college town. Some of us hiked up to the M, so this like elevated, not a mountain by any stretch of the imagination, but it had like, I don't know, like 10 little switchbacks or whatever to go up. It was like a 30-minute hike. It was super cute and fun. And then
Fun.
you get to see the town from up on the butte, which
That's
was,
such a Montana word.
I know, right? It was a beautiful,
Nice.
if
Nailed
you
it.
will. I nailed it so much. But yeah, the singing was awesome. It's always great to be with this ensemble and to do something outside of our normal season. You know, we did a festival 9 years ago. I hope we do another one sooner than 9 years from now.
Yeah, really. Well, that's
But
cool. I love that. Sorry, I had a random thought. I'm
hit me.
excited for all your singing and stuff, but I wonder what do the other representatives from other countries, the other people, the other choirs think about coming to Montana? My first inkling for a second, I was like, oh, wouldn't they want to come to like a big city or whatever? But honestly, I think, the natural beauty of some of like the, natural parks and the bigger states is a really cool part of the United States. In a way, I don't know. So maybe they liked it,
I
and maybe they're from a country that is a lot more populated, and you don't just have large swaths of open area with mountains and stuff. I don't know. What
yeah,
do you
no,
think?
so there are two international choral festivals that happen in the United States and they happen usually in the same year, sometimes 1 year apart, and they happen in Missoula, Montana and Pocatello, Idaho. So in
Okay.
college towns in the mountainous region of the United States. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you and I are not non-US citizens or non-Canadian or Mexican citizens because I have a feeling they think the same have similar thoughts about the US and the
Okay.
cities,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like when I think about the US, I think about like LA, New York, Chicago as like major focal points, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's what other
So
countries probably mostly think about. Not
right.
always.
Yeah. You know, they think about the coasts, and if they know a little bit about the U.S., they'll probably think about Texas because it's like a
Sure.
huge state.
Sure.
It's odd to me that they're in Montana and Idaho, and we attended Vox Nova attended the one in Idaho 9 years ago, so like we have the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
experience of doing both of them. Um, but it strangely works. It strangely works, even though this time the Montana Festival was meant to have 14 choirs there.
Okay.
But in the past 6 months, I'll let you guess some of the reasons. But in the past 6 months, six choirs pulled out because they did not feel safe traveling to the United States anymore.
Yeah, I didn't want to ask a depressing question, but that makes a lot of sense. Wonderful. Wow.
Ah, there you go.
Great. Great.
Super fun. Whatever. If you are listening to us and you don't know how Sam and I feel, then like, do you know us? Have you actually
Oh,
been
I'm not
listening
worried
to
about
us?
that. I'm not worried
I'm
about that.
right.
But God, forget that. Okay. Well, that's fun. On a different note though,
Woo! Yeah, how are you and your
with
kiddos?
funny kiddo stuff. This is the funny kiddo segment. We jumped away from the daddy tell me everything about because in no longer specifically asks that question. Things have shifted,
Oh,
but there's fun stuff we do. So now In's newest thing. In has not gotten to do this. Very, very relative to this podcast. In is currently playing Donkey Kong Bonanza with me. There
I
is a
love that.
co-op mode where a little girl with freckles, kind of like In, that likes to sing, also like In, rides on your shoulder. And oh, sorry, very mild spoilers there. I apologize, but it happens in like the first 30 minutes of the game, so I don't know if that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so In gets to ride on my shoulder and shoot onomatopoeia blasts, basically, or of sound at things and blow them up, and she just thinks it is the coolest and most fun thing ever. And we make it educational. She is going into first grade and learning how to read. So the one human character, which is that girl, speaks, but everybody else just makes animal noises and needs subtitles.
Yeah.
So she can read a bunch of subtitles and get us through the story. So that's been good.
That's so fun. That one girl character, Pauline, iconic character. Come
Yeah,
on.
Pauline. Yeah, I didn't know who would know Pauline. This is not an RPG, DJ. We talked about this.
Oh my God,
It
it's
is.
not. It's not an RPG.
So who cares about the characters? It's not an RPG. But no,
Yeah.
it's Pauline. So it's like young Pauline. But
Yeah.
anyway, so that's what's going on with N. And then Jay just keeps saying he's saying funnier and funnier things as he says more and more stuff. He's now four. Jay is. But the other night Jay had a quote potty accident overnight. Doesn't happen very often. And then the next evening. I was explaining to him why his sheets were different again, kind of reminding him that that happened. And In goes, "Oh my gosh, that happened?" Because she didn't realize that it had happened the night before. And Jay just looks up, and instead of getting sad and upset with himself, he just goes, "Yeah, it was a huge one, and I didn't even know."
I didn't even know.
And I didn't even know. He's just like, "Yeah, I had the biggest potty accident. I didn't even know."
What a bro. What a little
It was kind of
bro.
bro. It was kind of bro. And along those bro lines, I guess too, he had a checkup and he had to get three vaccines and three different shots. But then apparently he went around daycare telling everybody he got shot three times in the leg. And so,
Those
so
are
he,
that. Yeah.
two different things, two different things.
Yep.
But he was going around telling all the everybody at daycare that he got shot three times in the leg. So that's what's going on with Jay and in this household. Kay gets no love in this episode. However, she does a lot of funny things.
Well, she's only one ish, so
Ish, yeah, it's all the same.
it's fine.
But
Whatever.
anyway, what are we to move on to the next in this story? The next thing in this story, segue.
That's right.
What are we
The
talking
quest.
about today?
I'm gonna choke you if you say segue one more time. Today we are talking about games that we feel like need a sequel. They're either games that have zero sequels or they're IPs that maybe haven't had a sequel in close to 20 years. So
Yeah,
essentially, yeah, we were just talking about
we were just
that.
chatting about that, kind of like what exactly makes a sequel. And I think the definition is continuing the story or the, themes and characters and relationships of prior games. And so, yeah, when I thought about it, it's interesting how we both thought about this. All the games I picked are singular games that have never had anything else in the series. And then a
Mhm.
few of DJ's come from series that are kind of, you know, that could be revitalized with a sequel that are they're not an ongoing series. They might
Yeah,
have other games in the series, but a sequel would be due at this point because they've been a dormant series for a while. So I think that's
yeah.
kind of an interesting take that we each had. But anyway, um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So like, we're not going to mention, I think, foregone conclusions like Final Fantasy. That's obviously going to get a sequel,
hmm
or sequels that have been announced but aren't yet out, like Dragon Quest. Another, I think that'll be the 12th one. Like
yeah, exactly.
I didn't mention Star Ocean because it has 6 games in the series. I'm sure it's going to get a
There are going to
seventh
be
game.
more,
There will
and
be
like we all
more.
know, there's going to be another Fire Emblem. There's going to be another everything. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly. So
exactly.
it's not that we don't want those to have sequels. We just know that they're going to happen.
Yeah, good point. Good point. All right, well, let's jump in. What is your first game that you want to see a sequel to?
Yeah, my first game. By the way, this is not a ranking episode. We're just kind of we're riffing, talking about these
True.
games here.
This is true.
So So one game that I would love to see a sequel, Live Alive, Live Alive. You know, and if you've been listening to the podcast, I've alluded to this before in the past. It is a turn-based game, apparently a 7 by 7 grid. I had to look that up. I didn't know the actual numbers
That
of
feels
it.
right.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
feels
yeah.
right.
So it's 7 by 7. Awesome, awesome gorge. 2D HD, HD 2D. I always screw up the direction of
Yeah,
that.
we know. We
Yeah,
know. You're
yeah.
good.
We know that I screwed up. You know, each scenario takes place in a drastically different time period. It was released originally in 1994, but then kind of not shadow dropped, but a big surprise. We're releasing this in a year in 2022.
Hmm.
So originally on the Super Famicom, only in Japan, and then released on the Switch. Later PS4 and 5 and PC, developed and published by Square Enix. Listen, I think the gameplay itself warrants a sequel because it's so much fun. It's a step
Hmm.
above your basic turn-based RPG, but it has the grid system, which I think makes it slightly unique. It wouldn't be like a Fire Emblem, anything like that, but I think there's something cool about the grid system.
Yeah, it's like tactical in positioning elements,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
not a full tactical game, but
Not a
element.
full tactical game, but I feel like the grid system. I feel like the grid system works a little more tactical here than like the Lunar games, which are also grid system based.
Yeah,
I
yeah, it's more
think.
important. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, there are different stories and characters they could explore in a sequel, which I think are limitless. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't have an issue if they just brought back the same bad guy, Odio, and just had 6 to 7 or 8 new characters and a new timeline also be the heroes. I
Yeah, I love that.
Right? I think
You're
that'd be
not getting any
cool.
complaints from me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously they can come up with a new bad guy if they want to, but it doesn't matter to me.
Okay,
I
what would you make that would be different though, maybe?
I'd love to see some scenarios that were a little darker and more mature. I think I mentioned this in one of our first episodes that if they made a sequel, I'd love to see something like horror based,
Oh,
teen
that'd be
slashers
cool.
scenario. I think that'd be really nifty. I'd love a few more options for permanent female party members. You know, like you can play Live Alive and not have your final 7 people have a female character. And in fact,
Mm,
most people probably do. You know, there's a only a 33.333 repeating percent chance that you'll pick. I think her name is Liu in
yeah.
the yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't think you picked her, did you?
No.
Yeah. See, so I'd love a few more options for female party members.
Drag me there.
Well, sorry, you hate women. You heard it first on Turn-Based Besties. Sam hates women.
It's true. That's canon.
It's canon now. I also think it'd be cool to have an animal party member or another robot party member similar to Cube.
Love it.
Right? We love some Cube on this podcast.
What about this? I just thought of this.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What about either anti-hero or straight up villain timelines like that you play? And then when you have to get near the end, if they do the same thing where you combine them, then they have to work together against the actual big bad. But when you play in individual stories, you're the bad guy.
Hell yeah. Yeah, like everyone's a bad guy or just like 1 or 2 scenarios is an
Either
villain.
one. Yeah, maybe it's
Yeah.
probably easier to just do a couple scenarios like that, but
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah, I think that would be
Yeah.
great. You know, this doesn't
There's
have to
so
be.
much.
There's so much. This just like the first game, it doesn't have to be a 100 hour adventure or anything. You know, I wouldn't change that. I'd still keep it to 25, 30 hours.
Yeah, I love the time frame. I love that pacing of a game like that. That's why I like Octopath so much because I can jump in, I can do a chapter of each of the different stories, and it's bite size each sit down. I love that.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. What about you, man? What do you want to see a sequel to?
Well, I dug back in my history of games that I played, and one that came to mind was SteamWorld Quest. I would like for that to have a sequel. Okay, so this is from the SteamWorld series. Okay, there's SteamWorld heist games, dig games. There's a bunch of different. There's a SteamWorld build game. They do a whole. Image and Form is the developer and Thunderfall Publishing. They've done these SteamWorld games and they do them in totally different genres. So the genre of this one though is a turn-based RPG,
Okay,
but
cool.
also a deck building game. So
Oh,
your attacks and your battles are based on a deck, and you get a hand each time, and then you get to pick which ones you play. Yeah, and so combinations of cards that you use might get you different buffs. If you use three that are for one character, you might, I think you get a fourth card to attack. So there's all this strategy that goes along with how you construct your move set in your deck and then how you play it, which is really fun. And then I love that SteamWorld universe too. This one came out in 2019, by the
Okay.
way, for really it looks like it was just on Nintendo and maybe like Windows Steam. I don't think it's on Xbox or PlayStation, which is interesting. Um, but I
Ooh.
really dig the SteamWorld element. So it's kind of like steampunk, but also a little bit can be futuristic because they're robots, they're steam powered robots.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then why else would I want one? Well, Image and Form and the Thunderbolt people, I think they've always been together on the SteamWorld games. They do great sequels. I played SteamWorld Dig 2, which was kind
Hmm.
of like a digging based 2D Metroidvania kind of game, which is really fun. SteamWorld Heist 2 I just played this year. So
Oh,
that was kind of like a tactical turn-based shooter type game. However, it was all 2D grid, like up and down 2D grid, like climbing levels rather than top down grid, which is
yeah.
super cool. And they do a great job on their sequels, so that's why I would really trust them to do a great job with this one. What would I want them to do different on this? Again, it's a turn-based game. This one was more fantasy themed, the first one. And you had three parties in each, or three character members in each party.
Oh, yeah.
But what I would want them to do is, hey, I love sci-fi. Why don't we switch to more sci-fi than general fantasy?
Yeah.
SteamWorld actually lends itself really well to this because, like I mentioned, SteamWorld Heist 1 is in space on spaceships. They are kind of like robots, and so it kind of already lends itself to that, which is great. I like the three character party, I think does work probably better with the decks because that adds such a complexity. But maybe
Okay.
you could let another character kind of swap in easier to allow for that variability of more characters because there were more characters, but I kind of got stuck in my three and never branched out as much. But
You and
if you
I,
allowed to
yeah.
swap, we kind of do that, right? You
Yeah.
get stuck. But if you had like a easy swapping mechanic without a cost to that, I think that'd be fun. And then I thought a cool element they could maybe add is like a shipbuilding or base building element. So if you're in space and you have a spaceship, you can like build different aspects of your ship, a la XCOM or Suikoden, where you have the ability to build additional parts on, and then that gives you things you can do. So maybe you have a weapon shop that you can augment your weapons at, or a medic bay for healing and mana. So I just thought of some cool things they could maybe try.
This is
So
cool.
are you looking it up?
Yeah, I've never played it. I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's only three party members, not a huge party, but the deck building with the turn-based was really fun. It adds a
Cool.
totally different strategy, and it's quick and snappy, and it was a good one. But anyway, that is what I would want a sequel to,
Do
and maybe
you,
they will, because like I said, Heist got a sequel, Dig got a sequel, so
how do you feel about someone like I've never really jumped into the deck building game. Do you think this would be a good first deck building game to jump into?
oh yeah, it's not super complex, I don't think. So
Okay.
some deck building games, like you really have to kind of think about how you're building an engine, sometimes they say, or like the cards you draw make you draw more cards and then make you get more moves and make you and there's like a lot of strategy to it.
Yeah.
But this one's less about the deck building than it is about picking the moves that you want between the two, and then there's just like a side mini game of which cards you pick each hand. So I'd say it is a good entry level for that.
It looks cool. I might just download this tonight. I won't play it tonight, but I might just download it because also it looks like it's only like 15 to 20 hours.
It was short. It's been like 5 years since I played it, but I think I can give a good recommendation, even though it's been a long time.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
you do what you want, do what you want. But anyway, okay, jumping forward while you let that download, what
Yeah.
is your next one you want to chat about?
Yeah. Next one is I want to see a true sequel, a third, a trilogy to make it a trilogy. I want to see a true sequel to the Lunar series. So not to Silver Star Story because it gets its direct sequel of Lunar Eternal Blue. So I want to see number three, which was always a rumor, and it's been a rumor on the internet for since 2005. It's been like, when is Lunar 3 gonna happen? And it's not, it's never gonna happen.
Maybe it just has a really long development time.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly it. We'll see with how sales of the remaster have been going, with like selling out continuously, maybe that'll inspire people to finally make the third one. So, to those who aren't familiar, it's an old school turn based, also on a grid, though less involved than the Live Alive grid. It's beautiful watercolor type battle screens, excellent voice acting and music. I'd say the first game is definitely your traditional hero story, and the second game starts to divert from the traditional hero path a little bit. Originally released on Sega CD in '94. This is Eternal Blue specifically. Then on the Saturn as a ground up remake in '98. Then as a port to the PlayStation and kind of a remake of that in '99. Then a remaster in 2025. So it has seen its fair share of love. It's time to get a sequel out there. Originally on Sega CD, then PS1, PS4, 5, Xbox, Steam, developed and published by Game Arts, published also by Working Designs. I forget the publisher for the remaster, so my apologies. Why do I want to see a sequel? After the story ends in Lunar 2 Eternal Blue, there's still a major story to tell. This isn't a spoiler for you, Sam, if you choose to ever play the second one.
Okay.
Even if a third game takes place hundreds or thousands of years later, just like Eternal Blue is 1,000 years after Silver Star, there's a horrible prequel that we don't talk about because no one in the fandom talks about it. It's horrible. It's garbage. But there's a huge story to tell about repopulating the blue star, which is not. It's never referred to as Earth in the Lunar series, but it's Earth.
Oh.
Yeah, and Lunar is the moon, that Earth's moon. Again, it's not explicitly stated, but I think it's pretty obvious. Probably even obvious to you at this point, and you're only a little bit into the first game.
Yeah.
It's like Lunar is the moon. So I'd love for the grid system to remain, but to have it mean a little bit more.
Hmm.
Like how Live Alive.
Positioning's more important. Yeah.
Yeah, I think positioning would be cool if they dug into that. Again, not to make it a tactical RPG, but just to bring a little bit more stakes to it, to make the grid system mean a little bit more. I'd
Sure.
love to see it in modern graphics, so kind of akin to the Trails series. That
Oh.
I think that would be really cool to see it modern like that. I think it'd be great to see updated weaponry. So some of our characters using guns or bombs or anything like that. I think Lunar, this isn't a spoiler, but maybe kind of. Has always flirted with the idea of, I'm gonna say, like, anachronism. So you'll see machinery next to magic later on in the first game,
Okay.
and you definitely see that in the second game as well. But all your characters are still sword and bow and magic based. I think it'd be cool especially if they go back to the Blue Star for a third game, to see.
And heck, if it's been another 1,000 years, come on, get some technology.
Exactly, right? I think that makes total sense. I mean, you can essentially, yeah, I won't spoil anything. I think it'd be great to learn more about the four dragons, maybe have Null and Ruby in their human form become temporary party members, if not full-on party members. It's a perfect duology, but there's more story to tell, and I'd love to see a final chapter.
How many times do you think in the sequel would you want to have to talk to somebody before the story can advance? Like more than 3 times?
Wow. So Sam is such a complainy face.
It drives me insane playing. So I'm playing Lunar, the first one right now. And sorry, real quick shade to throw. I have wandered like to other towns before I realized that all I had to do was go back and talk to the same person another time or 2 more times, and then it would move the story. I've wandered around wondering, okay, who do I talk to next? What do I do next? I already talked to those people.
I
And
think
the answer is to read the guide and it tells you to stand there or like to walk out of the room and come back and talk to the same person. And I'm like,
that the
why?
I will push back on that. The answer is never walk out and run back into the room. That's literally not it.
That's
But
in the guide.
they're wrong. But I think because the text is so colorful, like the dialogue is genuinely so colorful in the Lunar series, is they
Uh-huh.
kind of just expect you to talk to these people, you
Okay.
know? But you're not one. I mean, you literally made the meme about clicking through the text and then hours later being like,
Yeah.
"Where am I supposed to go?"
Yeah, that was
So
me.
yeah, that's
That's why
you.
I made that meme.
I know. So like, bro, it's a little on you for like not paying attention to the story.
Maybe fair, but whatever. Okay, okay, fine.
Speaking of amazing stories, what's your
Really?
next one?
My next one is very new and very in the zeitgeist still, but Claire Obscure Expedition 33.
Woo, woo,
I'm already
woo.
talking about the sequel. Let's do another one. What are we going to do? What is this game? If you haven't heard, this is the hot new title in the RPG world. Just came out April of this year, 2025, on Windows, Steam, Xbox, kind of everywhere by the Sandfall Interactive and published by Kepler Interactive. So Sandfall is, to my understanding, just like 30 some people, and they
Yeah,
came from other studios and they just wanted to do their own passion project and their own thing, and it's awesome.
that's so
So play
cool.
it if you haven't played it. DJ, I think, is gonna get back. He's played a little, is gonna keep going, digging into it. We'll
Yeah,
have a review at some point. It is so much fun. So it really, what does it do so well? Like it really refreshes and revitalizes the turn-based combat system. There's a whole dodging and parrying mechanic that's vital to and important to the game. That's a lot of fun as you get used to it. There's so much customizability to your builds based on the weapons. There's these things called Pictos and Lumina that basically give you a whole bunch of different stat increases or changes to your attacks, and you can really customize your build based on those and how you put them together. Uh, there's exploration is actually encouraged, even though it's not humongous maps, but it's
hmm
fun to look around. It's beautiful, and then the story is so well told. The music is immersive and fun, and so like you're really invested in these characters, and they do such a good job. So I could gush, and I will keep gushing later on. Yes, I will
gu-
continue to gush when we
gu-
talk about this game.
gush all over.
That's right. That's what I will do. But what would I do different in a sequel? Well, some people want more from this exact specific world, and I'd be okay with shifting it. It could be in the same kind of world, but I'd be okay
Yeah,
with totally different characters, totally different situation because I don't know how much digging deeper into the plot lines and like the backstories of these people would intrigue me. I'd kind of want similar but different story.
yeah.
I'd want more and more of the Pictos and Luminas, more and more of the customizability. That was awesome. Um, I think the story could also be kind of pretty straightforward and shorter and sweeter. I think the story took most folks 30-ish hours, but then maybe expand out the end game stuff, have even more end game content where you can really break the game by combining your Luminas and your builds. That sounds awesome to me.
Cool.
Keep all the storytelling, the emotional aspects there. The visuals were awesome, spot on. Keep that going. I'd be so excited because this is a brand new studio with so few people and relatively few resources, and so to think of them being able to do a sequel is just tantalizing and mouthwatering and so exciting.
Yay.
And then again, this is my thing. Maybe even make it more sci-fi futuristic. Maybe do kind of like a cyberpunk Matrix theme. That'd be fun. Think about it. Just saying.
That'd be kind of cool. Neither of us have ever played the Cyberpunk RPG, have we? Like, I've not played it.
2077.
Yeah.
I really want to now on my Switch too because it's supposed to be a really good port.
Is it? Oh,
It's
okay,
supposed to be a
cool.
great port. However, I think it's just long is my only thing stopping me from playing it.
Yeah,
But it's
we have a
supposed to
lot
be
of other
good.
games to get through first.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay, so that's Clair Obscur. We'll be talking a lot more about that at some point. So DJ,
Yeah.
what's your next one?
Next one is a sequel that I think you and I would both like to see, since we both enjoyed the third game so much, is a
Yeah.
sequel to the Mother series, so a Mother 4. So, if you've been living under a rock, Mother is a turn-based RPG, over the shoulder, has a unique mechanic of like rolling HP meter, which I think is really cool. It's definitely purposefully odd and witty and a parody at times, but it's a
Yeah.
cute game. The series was released between 89 and 2006, 89 for the first game, I think 94 for Earthbound or Mother 2, and then 2006 for Mother 3, just in Japan. released for the Nintendos, for Nintendo and Super Nintendo and then Game Boy Advance. And then Switch Online for the first two, but still no official English port for Mother 3. How did we play it? Who knows? So, who knows? The developers by Ape and HAL Laboratory, publisher Big Boy Nintendo. Why do we want a sequel?
Why?
Aliens, sci-fi. You and I want more of that. We like it.
Yes, yes, give it to me.
Give it to me, baby. Uh huh. Uh huh. So, also, I think the Mother series, especially the second two games, were able to balance comedy and the sense of seriousness really beautifully, especially the third one. And even especially in just today's society, I think we need to live, laugh, love a little bit more. But we
So
do we
much
do need
so.
more love and laughter these days, and I think Mother 4 would deliver that. So
Yeah, nobody else does. I don't know, maybe other people do, but the tone and of Mother 3 for me and yeah, that clash of the seriousness with the absurdity was so refreshing and really up my alley and I haven't felt that same way with other games. Yeah, I would love to have more of that tone.
I would too. So what would I want differently with a Mother 4? Probably not a whole lot. I'd like to see my characters completely on the battle screen instead of the
Hmm.
over the in the first two. I can't really speak on the first game, but on the second game, you just saw a box with your HP and your side points. And
Yeah.
then in the third game, we kind of saw a little bit of the figure on the battle screen. So I'd love to see my characters on the battlefield. I know that's a small little nitpick, but I'd like to see that. Maybe even similar to like the Fantasy Star games where you have an over the shoulder view.
Yeah.
I'd love the protagonist to not be silent. A bigger party of maybe five would be fun to play around with. I think the retro graphics would still really work for the Mother series, so maybe digging into the HD 2D, but I don't think we would necessarily need to see a ground up, fully, 3D PS5 version of Mother 4.
I don't think so. Yeah, yeah. I don't think you need an Unreal Engine 5 or whatever
Yeah,
doing this game. I agree. I think that'd be too jarring. You can't go from playing those other games and then seeing them as hyper realistic. I That wouldn't
right.
make any sense.
I think
Yeah.
that would be weird, but
Agreed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it would just be a really. I mean, it'd be kind of funny to get a Mother 4 and still not get Mother 3 in the US.
That feels
So
that feels right though.
it's yeah, right, I guess so.
I feel like they would do no, just not that right, but more like they would do that.
They probably
Um,
would, but yeah, I think you and I both would like to see that. But yeah,
cool
that's
one.
mine,
Yeah,
man.
that
What
was a
about
fun one.
what about you? What's another one?
So digging back into my catalog from early on in my, adult gaming history, I
Dig
thought
baby.
about Astral Chain. So this was an action RPG made for the Nintendo Switch, published by Nintendo, but developed by Platinum Games of the Bayonetta series, Nier Automata, so other action RPG games. So this one
Oh,
is set in kind of a post-apocalyptic Earth being overrun and controlled or kind of overtaken by this different universe or different this different plane of existence, this astral plane that's kind of taking over.
yeah.
You're part of this special police military force trying to fight back. So the astral plane beings are like these chimera is what you call them,
Mm-hmm.
but in a twist what you do to fight them is your police force military force has developed the ability to kind of capture them and use them as their own fighting squad, their own legion. They call them legion. When you capture these bad guy things and they fight for you, they're called legions. And so you like literally have like a chain. You're like a human police officer person with like a chain around these different legions and they fight for you. So
Oh,
you'll be
cool.
able to upgrade your legion's abilities through cool skill trees and increase their battle capabilities. And by the end, during battle, you're like switching between them to maybe stun. It's been a while since I played, but you might stun with one of them, and then you switch to another one to kind of weaken them, and then you switch to another one to do some big attack, and then you switch to another one to do so you can kind of loop it together. And it was very fluid and a lot of fun. Sorry, this one had come out in 2019, by the way, so yeah, an older one.
Sure.
Other
2019, so old.
Well, older for my gaming history. When I first started playing on the
Yeah.
Switch, it was one of the earlier titles I played.
Mhm.
So, let's see here. Other things that are cool about it is you also have like detective problem solving mystery elements where
Hmm.
you can, yeah, where you just straight up like the story advances when you have to investigate what's going on, and your Legion have special abilities in the overworld that might help you break certain pathways down. Or I think one of them was even like a wolf or a dog looking thing. So it could like smell or sense like trails and that you could help track. And so you use their different abilities to solve these mysteries. And it was a cool change of pace from the, more frenetic action to, okay, we're slowing down, we're solving a mystery. And that was more enticing to me with like, the next story bit to solve a mystery rather than just reading a lot of text. So
Yeah.
so that was cool. Why would I want a sequel? I want to see more from Platinum Games. I trust that they make a great action RPG. When you look at Bayonetta, which I've only played Bayonetta 3, but it was really good. Nier Automata is a fantastic series that I love. So I really think they do a great job with another action RPG. It was fun to string combos together and to kind of wield these legions. That's a cool mechanic. And then that mystery aspect, so that kind of change of pace was cool. So more of that. But what would be different? Well, I thought about maybe could you have instead of just you switching between them, could you have a party and a few other people that have their
Ooh.
own legions? And then maybe you can change between the legions, or maybe you don't. Or maybe you can keep switching legions and everybody else has their own, kind of like the Persona world, where you can switch between the different personas, but your party members kind of just have one, maybe,
Hmm.
so that'd be easier there. And yeah, this is kind of, yeah, sci-fi post-apocalyptic world. So that setting is cool with me. That can stay. Um, but yeah, so maybe just additional characters, but I thought it was a great one. So I don't know. Did you look it up? What did you think of the way it looks there, DJ?
I didn't look it up. No.
Oh, I thought you were looking at something. Then forget about it. Forget I said that. But Astral Chain, check it out. I do think anybody that likes action RPGs, it's a little bit of a hidden gem on the Switch there. I know people that know Nintendo and stuff know it, but it got a little lost there for as quality as it is, I would say.
Oh,
So.
okay. Well, I have a little action RPG I'd like to add.
Look at us both going action away from the turn-based.
Yeah, it's fine. We're a big tent here at Turn-Based Besties. Not big enough to include Donkey Kong, but that's okay.
He heard you.
It's fine. So the next game I think deserves a sequel is Vampire. Vampire? Vampire? I think we call it Vampire.
Do I know this one? I don't know.
I don't know if
This
you
sounds
do.
so familiar, but I also have never played it.
It's an action role-playing game. So, you are Dr. Jonathan Reed. It takes place during the 1918 Spanish flu outbreak in London. You are a newly turned vampire, and the game
Mm.
focuses on the moral dilemmas of a vampire doctor forced to choose between his thirst for blood and his oath to heal and protect his patients.
Oh, cool.
It's really pretty cool. I think you have about 60 different folks in London that you interact with. There's, advancing via a skill tree as well. And, the more people that you choose to, I think they call it embrace. So, like, if you
Turn them into vampires.
turn them, the more folks that you embrace, the less likely you are to receive a good ending kind of thing. I think there are three different
Oh.
endings in the
But what do you
game.
get by embracing them? What happened? What's the positive to that?
I'd have
It
to,
makes the game easier or something somehow?
I mean, yeah, it does. Yeah, it totally does. Like you also fight um non boss battle enemies. Like I believe you do as well. Watch me be wrong and someone drag me and call me out. But there are
Drag him.
drag me. There are only mandatory boss battles like you have to do. You don't have to kill innocent people to advance the story or to progress. Though it is easier. When I played it, I think I embraced fewer than five people. I tried to play a good guy path the best that I could.
Because that's how you got the best ending, right?
I think so.
You're a
Yeah.
little obsessive about that.
I am. Well, I kind of don't want to sit through 30 hours and then be like, sorry, bad ending. You died.
Bad is
Anyway,
relative. You earn the ending you earn.
you are, I guess so. Whatever. I want a good ending. I'm a romantic. This game was released in 2018 on PS4 and PS5 and then the Xbox, and now the Switch a year later in 2019. Developed by Don't Nod Entertainment and published by Focus Home Interactive. So, why do I want a sequel and what would I do differently? I think there's more story to tell. I think the big theme for you and I for these sequels is we think there's more story to tell and make it sci-fi or
Make it sci-fi. Oh, I
make
didn't
it
know you were gonna say
sci-fi
that.
or like
Do
make it
it.
modern, right? So I think in this one there's definitely more story to tell.
Were you not joking about make it sci-fi?
I really wasn't for a lot of these. I'm not joking. I'm really not. I want to see Jonathan, Dr. Reed in modern times, so not necessarily sci-fi, right? But maybe see him in 2020 or in 2024 or
And he's
something like
he's
that.
immortal as a vampire, so you could easily do that. That is cool. I like it.
Easily could do that.
I love it.
I think it would be cool to see Dr. Reed during the first year of COVID. I know that might be a little too real for people, so I don't anticipate that actually happening for a while or ever at all. But maybe
Oh,
seeing him, how he would interact with people during another pandemic would be kind of
cool.
cool. I think there's both
Because
like
you said it was Spanish flu, right?
Spanish flu in
Oh, they totally
1918.
should do that. Yeah, you go to a different time period that have another pandemic. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, to
yeah.
see if to see
100%.
if he's found a cure for the blood of hate, which is an aspect of the game in the first game. I also think there's some lagginess and bugginess that they can improve upon from the first game, just functionally speaking. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm no game developer. I just that's something I have noticed. It was a little buggy in the beginning.
Well, that's a fun one. I That actually intrigues me here.
Hey, I've only played it one time, man. I'd be happy to play it alongside you if you want to do it.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
Maybe a Halloween episode. I don't know.
That's a good one. I like it. Well, we don't have to play this next one alongside each other because we already have
Heck yeah, we did. This was both on our list, so we're gonna take turns talking about it. Sam, what's the game?
Triangle Strategy.
Triangle strategy. I forget. There's like
Is that how the song
I
goes?
forget. No, I think I just was doing something else now.
Duh.
Oh, that's Star Ocean 2. Anyway, there's a stupid
It
theme
has
song
good
to it.
music, but I don't remember the exact music. So yeah, this one was a turn-based tactical RPG with the beautiful HD 2D graphics that we've been harping on too much in this episode, I feel.
Whatever.
You've got your large teams a la a Fire Emblem type game, right? That you're commanding on the battlefield with
Hmm.
an emphasis on, yeah, positioning, specifically because you can get kind of follow-up attacks based on if you're positioned well. There's these special quietus skills that you can do, which have kind of game breaking powers. There's kudos points that you can use for that are, which this is a cool mechanic that you got the kudos points based on getting things like the follow up attacks during battle. So like how well you battled and how well you did it. Would get you these kudos points that you could then spin to upgrade things, which was a very cool mechanic. And then the thing that's kind of probably most well known outside of the turn-based tactical RPG aspect is the emphasis on decision making,
Oh yeah.
specifically the scales of conviction. So there will be whole like big plot points or big decisions to be made, and the decisions will literally be weighed on this three-part scale, and you'll have to go around and convince folks how to vote and try to sway them based on your conversations to agree with you for the story to go one way or another, which was stressful but cool.
It was. That was a really fun aspect. When I think about wanting to replay this game again, that's an aspect that makes me want to play it again. Is like the scales of conviction, like trying to convince people to vote your way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
totally. But wait, I might have written this down wrong. It was released
it was
last year,
released
right?
in 2022, I
Oh, was it that
believe.
long ago?
Triangle Strategy 2022,
2022. That makes more
October
sense.
13.
March
Nope,
4th.
just kidding.
March 4th.
Yeah, March
We're good. We're
4th.
good. Oh yeah, 2022. Good. Okay, I
We're good.
think I
We're
wrote that
good.
down wrong.
That's okay,
Anyway,
man. Yeah. Released in March of 2022. Released on the Windows, and the
Windows,
Switch.
Steam, and Switch. Yeah.
And anything else at this point, or is it just those two things?
I, I thought I looked this up. I'll double check. You keep
No.
going.
All right. Developed by Big Boy Square Enix and Art Inc. Published also by Square Enix. Samuel, why do we want to see a
You
sequel?
can also play it on the MetaQuest 2, the MetaQuest 3, and the MetaQuest Pro.
Okay, those are definitely things that I have.
So it's only on Windows, Steam, and Switch. Okay.
Perfect.
What was the question?
What did you, why do you want to see a sequel?
Okay, so I love tactical RPGs. I mean, we just did a full episode recently about why we like
Yep.
tactical RPGs. So more of that, please.
Yes.
We've done nothing but talk about HD 2D graphics and how much we love those. And so more of that, please.
Yes.
Again, yeah, I like that kudos system. I like, not only how it winning, but how you play the game and how you win gets you more upgrades and points that you can spend towards upgrades. So that was really, really cool.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, what did you like?
I like the political Games of Thronesies like story to it, you know? Make it modern. Let's see that take place in a similar but not completely same like US government thing. That would be
Oh,
really
that's a cool
cool.
thought.
But also you know with magic and stuff too.
Okay, I can see that. I like the government intrigue. You gotta like the story for a game like this because I mean, sometimes it was literally 40 minutes of, wasn't it at the beginning? Like 40 minutes of sitting through cutscenes. So you gotta be okay with that.
Oh, it wasn't even just at the beginning. Again, you know, when I think about wanting to replay this game, I also
That's
remember
the
that it's like a visual novel and I just can't.
So let's say it. We can say it. What would be different about the sequel? Shorter cutscenes. Give
Shorter,
us chunks and then a battle and then chunk and then a battle. Like more battles, break it up.
break it
Break
up,
it up.
baby.
Okay, Kit Kat bar. But also sequel, so maybe government, or also just gonna say it, maybe sci-fi.
Make it
Maybe you jump to
sci-fi.
a future, maybe it's all sci-fi, that you get some like stormtrooper type guys in there, maybe you got some mechs. I don't know, different cool things. What else
We
might you change about this?
we're such millennial bros that we're like, yeah, make it sci-fi, make it cyberpunk, steampunk, and we're so unique that we like that. But nope, we're not.
I'm not trying to be unique. I'm just saying that has
Oh,
been
I know.
every time I was thinking about the sequel as it has shown, I was like, but wouldn't it be cool if it was sci-fi
No, but
though?
like, right? I mean, like, because you know, you and I like fantasy. Like, we're cool with fantasy, but also like, wouldn't it be cooler if it was sci-fi?
Yep, that's what I'm saying. But yeah,
Uh,
what else might you change?
I mean, obviously, if you're gonna make a sequel, give us more classes.
Yes.
You know, or more job system classes depending on the game. Maybe make the graphics look more like Fire Emblem Engage or Three Houses. I wouldn't mind
That could
that.
actually be cool. We do like, yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, you know, so to kind of differ from the 2D HD, maybe we try that and less dialogue.
Yeah, we already said it, but
I
it can be
know.
stated again. Very good. Well, yeah,
Very
somebody's got to do
good.
it.
We have one more, Sam. I'm gonna let you take it away.
Okay, yeah, I feel like I either did a game that was like the beginning of the Switch era or right here at the end of the first Switch era. But this is another more modern one right at the end of the Switch era, Unicorn Overlord. So that one was released, yeah, just March of 2024. To now it's on Switch, Xbox Series XS, PS4, 5. This is a Vanillaware game.
Yeah.
They are famous for like 13 Sentinels and Odin Sphere, and then published by Sega and Atlas. And so this is a turn-based tactical type RPG. It's a little different. So you're positioning your units around a battlefield. That's not really grid-based as much, but positioning them around a battlefield, there'll be terrain to navigate and bases. And then each unit or kind of like a squadron or something is going to have 3 to 5 different characters within it. And you can mix and match different classes and create them however you want. And each class is going to have different abilities. Some are more range, some are magic, some are more melee, some are more defensive. What you do is you program. I know you hate that word, but I'm going to keep saying it. You program how these units act. You might say, okay, if there's attack the row of enemies that has the most enemies in it, attack the strongest enemy, attack the weakest enemy with this attack. Like you kind of say, and then the battle will play out based on how you programmed it against them and based on what equipment you have equipped and everything else and what special augments you might have. So it's really customizable. It's really interesting and fun. and you tweak one thing, you see how it changes the outcome. You tweak it again, you see how it changes the outcome. Very intriguing. It's a beautiful Vanillaware type art style, kind of like 13 Sentinels was, which is um,
Oh yeah.
hand painted side-on view, kind of like an oil painting almost, I would say,
Yeah.
which is very very pretty. And then your top down though when you're looking at these battlefields. So you're at least in the first game, you're part of kind of a rebel army liberating towns, gaining more troops to your rebel army and trying to fight the oppressive Kingdom Force, which is, tale as old as time there. Let's see. Yeah, so why would I want the sequel? Basically everything I said. It's a unique play style that I hadn't played before, so I want more of that. Like programming the units, managing them on the battlefield. It's great. It's visually beautiful, classic kind of Vanillaware look. And then
Yeah.
I liked the story. It was decent. And then what would I do different?
I
Let's
wonder.
just say it. Let's make it sci-fi. There you
Make it
go.
sci-fi.
You could do pretty much everything the same and then just make all the units like, yeah, updated sci-fi, futuristic, alien races, mechs. You could fight. Oh, you could also do a cool thing I was thinking about where sometimes, yeah, you're on the planets and you have it be similar to the way it was in the first Unicorn Overlord, but then you could also have like a whole different mechanic for space battles between your ships and stuff. So I don't know. There's a lot there. Vanillaware, hear me out. Go ahead
Ma-
and add me on as an ideas guy for
a
Unicorn
consultant, if
Overlord
you
2. Yeah,
will.
consultant.
An idea. No. Please program Sam as ideas guy.
Just yeah, I need to be added to the credits as that, please. But anyway, so that's the last one. There's so much here. There's so many games we want to see more of.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure if you and I had 5 hours to talk, there could be a list of 20 more games that we would want sequels to.
this was an easy one. We thought of this of doing sequels, and then it was really pretty easy to come up with the games,
Oh,
actually.
easily. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are just a lot of worthy games out there that I think deserve a sequel.
Totally. What are the other worthy games that you're playing at the moment?
At the moment, I just started Bravely Default Flying Fairy, right?
Flying Fairy. I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah,
jealous of you.
yeah. It's cute. It's fun. It's fun so far.
Well, are the character models taking you out so you can't get
they
into it?
they are stupid. They are precious moments, but I know Sam is losing it on the other side.
You're not
They
wrong though.
they are, but you know what? It's a product of its time, for sure.
Maybe, but they also remastered it, so they could have changed
No,
it.
but why? Why would you change something, right? It's not a remake; it's a remaster. So I get
Okay,
keeping
okay.
it for sure.
Fine,
The
fine, fine.
graphics look awesome; they really do. They look really great on the Switch too. So I'm having fun, just kind of exploring. I'm not even out of the prologue yet, but I already have a couple. They call them asterisks,
Asterisks.
asterisks. So yeah, I just beat last week. I just beat Lunar Eternal Blue outside of the epilogue. I still need to do that, and I just finished Echo Generation Midnight Edition last night. That is a hidden gem, my friend.
Oh, cool.
That we should look at some point. It's
Yeah.
very Stranger Things vibes.
Oh, fun. Nice. Cool,
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
cool.
What about you? What are you playing?
As we mentioned at the beginning, DK Bonanza with In.
Oh,
I'm
so cute.
also trying to get through Lunar. I don't know, 6, 7 hours into Lunar.
Fun.
I have I'm like 40, 50 hours into Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, but I have more to do. Loving it. Just it's a lot of time that I need to sink into that. And then at some point I will be diving into Bravely Default Flying Fairy as well whenever I can. But I kind of it stresses me out to have too many games. I
I
generally would
know.
used to just always be a one game person. So
Same.
I've really got to knock out a few of these other games before I can feel good about starting a new one.
You know,
But
the day that you tell me a game that you're playing that you don't mention Xenoblade is the day that I think that you've been body snatched.
what you mean when I finally finish it? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. If
You're
you're
saying I'll
like,
never finish it?
I, I mean, or there'll be a new DLC that you're like, gotta play that for 60 hours now.
Well, it is true if you count how long I spent on Xenoblade 3 and the DLC for that, and then now Xenoblade Chronicles X, and then I could easily just jump into 1 and 2 and the DLCs for those. So yeah, you're right. You're right. This is true.
There will always be a Xenoblade game for you to play, which is why we need to play Xenogears at some point, the game that started it all.
There's yeah, the other Xeno games are supposed to be good, so why
Yeah.
don't we?
Why don't we? Maybe one day we will. Let us know. Call us out on social media. And where can you find us? At Turn Based Besties on Instagram. You can also listen to us on Spotify or really wherever the hell you listen to your podcasts. We're there. Go listen to us. Follow us. Go to our socials and let us know which game you want to see a sequel to. You can also email us comments or questions at turnbasedbesties@gmail.com. Go to our subreddit, sign up for our YouTube channel, subscribe, or click the I don't know, whatever YouTube people say. Click the subscribe button or something. We're over there too. Thank you to everyone who has followed us on social media. We just got a lot of new followers over on Instagram.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. So let's get us to 200 so we can see Sam without a shirt on. We're going to make that
Say what?
happen. Except, what did I say? What?
Okay, yeah, I guess that's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to see it. Get us to 250, and we'll see Sam in an underwear model shoot. It'll be awesome. Love going on these new adventures with you here on each new episode at Turn Based Besties.
Love that. Yeah, love that. So, as we say, when everything in the world points right, maybe go left and see what you find. I'm Sam.
And I'm DJ, and this has been another episode of Turn Based Besties. Bye.
Bye.